What is up, everybody? We are on day 6 of 7 straight new decks from Cosmic Creations, and we've gone through Victor, we've gone through Zoe, we've gone through Riven, gone through a little bit of everything. I'm going to go back to Riven for day 6, then tomorrow I'm most likely going to not involve any of the new champions, but instead try to involve a different card, maybe a landmark or something. I did do that once with Grand Plaza, but trying to stay diverse for these 7 new decks. But there's one more important Riven deck I definitely want to talk about, and I think there's a ton more Riven decks, to be honest. She's so flexible, but today's just going to be an OTK deck with Lee Sin. I think it's pretty solid. I predicted it being pretty high tier. I'm not 100% positive. I think it really is meta dependent. With the current Grand Plaza meta that we're in, it might not be the best against that just because they can challenge our units very aggressively. But outside of that, I think a combo deck like this can really exist and perform very well. So, as always, the deck code will be in the description below. You can like, comment, subscribe in this video, and do all that good stuff. Let's jump over to the live scene here. So we have a pretty core Ionia Noxus deck where we're running, the generic things for the Reforge package. So we can go through that first. We have Rune Weaver, Weapon Hilt, and Riven. Skipping the one drop in this sense. With that as well, that's actually pretty much it for the Reforge package. After that, we go down to the typical like Ionia control package a little bit. Eye of the Dragon, super clutch. Nopify is really solid. River Shaper is really good for draw. Concussive Palm is really good for stopping big attacks and also getting a unit. Twin Disciplines is good for saving a unit or offensively dealing extra damage. Deny and Deep Meditation. So obviously our champions, like I said, are Lee Sin and Riven. On top of that, we add the Ravenous Flock and Arachnoid Sentry for even more early game potential, just to kind of slow things down until we can set up our combo. And then we try to obviously end the game with our combo, which is Lee Sin, or in this sense, Horns of the Dragon. So double attack with Overwhelm is pretty insane. So even just putting double attack just on Horns of the Dragon base on turn 6, you can use that just the Blade Fragment from Riven that you get. For Overwhelm, and bang, you attack, it's going to do 4, and then if it kills the blocker, it's going to do 4 more. But if you also put any amount of damage buffs with Twin Discipline, with the other Blade Fragment that adds +2, with Blade of the Exile, anything like that, you're going to blast even more damage through, so I think it's a really solid card. Obviously, we're trying to do the same thing here with Lee Sin. We're trying to put Overwhelm on Lee Sin and punch a bunch of damage through. Mid-game, we're just trying to stall out, survive as we build our combo up, use Scorched Earth to remove important landmarks or just anything that took some damage from, a chump block, or even, especially with the Dragon Links. And Eye of the Dragon's pretty nuts with the Blade Fragments. You can really get that going, so you can make sure you get Dragons going. River Shaper's great for drawing extra cards, and it's, pretty standard OTK deck here with Riven and Lee Sin. It's super fun. If you haven't played the style of deck, I highly suggest you do it. It's normally not my go-to, but trying to branch out and do a little bit of everything, and it's been a lot of fun playing this. It's got a lot of weird lines of winning a game, has a lot of awesome plays, and it really just feels good to play, and it just feels different. It's always great to be playing a different style deck whenever you can. So definitely suggest it. For mulligan purposes, you want to keep, most decks, if you're playing against control, you might be able to ignore this a little bit, but most of the time you want to keep like Eye of the Dragon, Flock, Arachnoid Sentry, Rune Weaver, even Riven. That's all pretty good keeps. Concussive Palm's the one card above 3 cost that's also a pretty good keep because you can play it on, turn 3 with even hitting your 2-drop. So Concussive Palm's a really good keep. Other than that, you're kind of doing anything else at the end of the game. So you want this early stuff here. Pretty typical. Mainly just stalling type stuff. If you're playing against Grand Plaza, you can definitely keep Scorched Earth or a deck that you think is going to have Grand Plaza in it. Possible to keep that as well. And that's pretty much it. If you're going against, a heavier ramp deck, you might want to be a little bit more aggressive with your mulligans, but nothing too crazy. This deck's pretty good into a lot of the meta. It has a fighting chance against pretty much everything. Like I said, the Grand Plaza stuff can be annoying, and I added the Scorched Earth tech just so they might not be able to perfectly challenge all my units off the board. But if you can build up your OTK, they don't have a whole lot they can interact with outside of offensively when they're using Challenger, but if you can stop that portion of it, you can build your combo and get pretty good results there. Into Go Hard, you're pretty solid as well. You can build up a good combo. You need to save enough to deny like a Vengeance, but you can also Nopify all of their early Go Hards and pack your bags and things, which is nice. And then, you can go for a big finish. They can obviously use Glimpse Beyond to get around that, but we have a lot of spell denial in here, so it does help in that sense. Yeah, and then against ramp, again, you're going to need to save a deny for something big like that. If they have a frostbite as well, we're not running Bastion in this deck because we're not Targon, so it's not a typical Bastion Lee Sin to protect him that way, but you still have a fighting chance against that as well. It's pretty flexible in general, but it's going to follow the same curves that the old Lee Sin deck followed as well. It doesn't have as much early pop-off range. Lee Sin Zed had this ability to just kind of escalate the game really quick if you get a, Overwhelm. If you get a Zenith Blade on Zed, it's brutal. It doesn't really have that viability in it, but that being said, it's still super solid, and it's different in the sense that it actually has multiple lines of winning, and it can more easily trigger the double spell effects with Deep Meditation and Eye of the Dragon, and you don't have to run cards like Lee Sin Spell the Sonic Wave. But there are flex cards. You could obviously add more spell denial. You could run Sonic Wave as well. If you really are struggling into aggro, you could put in House Spider just for additional bodies, so you can have extra blockers there. Culling Strike's a decent removal that could get placed, take the place of Scorched Earth if you aren't really worried about Grand Plaza. Might is a super solid card as well. In my opinion, the package of Reforge has enough to offer with Overwhelm because you will get it from this, and then you'll also get it from Blade of the Exile. So you don't need Might, but I 100% understand the want for it. You could even run Sharpened Resolve for the extra damage on Riven. When she does level, which she does occasionally, you want to get that +3 damage. You get it from Twin Disciplines or from the Blade Fragments, but, Sharpened Resolve isn't terrible. Probably not my first choice there. And then Spirit's Refuge is another card that you could run if you want to get a little bit more Lifesteal and Surprise Barrier in your deck. That's pretty much the whole deck here, so let's run a game with it. Reforge OTK. Run a game with it and see how it goes. Jump right into ranked. I think I did. Yeah, I've been playing so many different decks lately that I haven't really ranked up at all. I've just been playing so much nonsense trying the deck build. So, all right, so we got Zoe, Aurelian Soul, 1 in 10 cost champion. Seems fun. But yeah, guys, if you do enjoy the content, if you leave a like, leave a comment, it really helps us grow a little bit. Our goal is 1,000 subscribers one day, so we can realistically try to, not even care about monetizing the YouTube. Our main goal is just actually becoming a League of Legends partner so we can get more giveaways to do, because right now we do all the giveaways ourselves and pay for all that, so any support helps more than you know, and it's very much appreciated. Alright, so, not a terrible hand. Ravenous Flock can combo decently with Concussive Palm for the kill as well, when we don't have the ability to just have the Arachnoid Sentry, but here I will play Eye of the Dragon. So I do have the option. I do have 5 mana, so I could actually Concussive and Ravenous. I don't think it's really worth it. I think I'm just going to get Riven on board. We don't really feel like taking any damage right now, so we'll just pass here. So her attacking again isn't actually the biggest deal, but we'll go for the stun. So if I had anything else to play, I probably want to do that. Just top deck another Deny isn't that great. Yeah, we'll go for the Flock now. He might have a Bastion to get around it, which would be, whatever. I think more, I would expect like a Troll Chain or something like that, which isn't going to save him in that sense. But we get a new Zoe out, so we got to deal with 2 of those. So we definitely want Lee Sin to be able to deal with her, so we can pull her out and get some damage. We did play 2 units, so we got, there were 2 spells, so we did get a Dragonling, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to Deep Med here, since it is cheaper. And then I will give something Quick Attack. We will give this 3/2 Quick Attack. So we'll attack with these 3, and we could also attack with this. I don't think that will get blocked. Alright, we'll get blocked, sure. Yeah, so it did not get blocked like we thought. put some damage through, so we don't have... Oh, it's going to be a Targon's Peak type of day. Interesting. Don't know why I wasn't expecting a Targon's Peak with Zoe. It's definitely interesting. So I have a Zero Cause Deny, so we'll see if that does anything. We did play 2 spells again. A second Targon's Peak for 0. I can play Horns of the Dragon here and still have a Zero Cause Deny in case it is a massive spell. 2 Targon's Peaks. We're both going to have some crazy turns in a second. So yeah, I'm going to try to do a lot with here the Horns of the Dragon. Ideally, I'm getting the Overwhelm fragment from Riven. If not, hopefully Deep Meditation draws me a weapon hilt. So remember, Riven works where she will make, the Reforge mechanic in general works where you make a blade fragment that you haven't already made to make Blade of the Exile first. So ideally, like I said, she will, on my turn, now make the Overwhelm one. If not, I can Deep Med to try to find it. So I did get it that way, which is great. 2 things cause 0, a deny in that, and I got my weapon hilt anyway. So we're going to go for a big turn here. I don't want him to have like a Skies Descend for 0 or anything crazy like that. Even though I do have a denies. But so we'll play all this for now. Remember, he just has 2 things that cause 0. So it could be Aurelian Soul, it could be anything. So I think I'm just going to attack here with this guy and see what he plays, and then I can also respond. So I do have the option to play Blade of the Exile, but I don't want to be too risky here. I want to see what... He has a lot of slow things. He's just going to take 16 damage right off the bat, which is pretty crazy. So we will freely deny this, because that card is way too good. I wonder what his 0 cost things are. Double Targon's Peak is definitely an interesting deck to be playing against for this video, but that's okay. I will still save my extra deny in case he does have 2 0 cost things. We don't know what they are. So Zoe is almost leveled up. He didn't play either of his 0 cost things, so I don't know if his hand's super weird or whatnot over there, but that is weird to me. So definitely want to play Blade of the Exile this turn, because we do need to give something Overwhelm for next turn. Ideally, we can also burst out with Weapon Hilt again, and also she will still be Reforged. So now that I made Blade of the Exile, Riven will still give me a different fragment again. And now it resets, so she'll give me 1 of 3 to make Blade, but she won't duplicate the next 2 either. Okay, so he's playing Zoe's Trouble Bubble. I think we'll Nopeify this one for free. Oops. Yeah, we'll Nopeify this one for free. So he's trying to level up Zoe for sure. Which at this point I'm not like the most worried about, because his board space is pretty bad. Anyway, we still have 1 deny, which is nice.
I know my purpose.
We'll see what kind of removal he's running. He hasn't played a lot of the cards that will generate the Obliterate removal. And we're just going to pass here because we're hanging out. So he hasn't really played the Priestess or the Allegiance unit to actually like get the Meteor Shower and the Obliterate removal that he normally would have. He could be running Sunburst or something. Alright, so he's playing that. I'm assuming dealing 2 to everything. Oh no, Obliterate all landmarks. Okay, so he just wants to kill his own landmark there. I was going to say deal 2 to everything actually is terrible. I don't know why I was thinking he would do that at first. Yeah, I mean, we don't care about denying that. So he blows up his own landmark. That's fine. We'll play Deep Med to get 2 cards back. Both pretty solid cards. We'll pass. So he could now play something. Alright, he could have played a unit that would have granted something elusive. So that had elusive, which would give his whole board elusive, but he did not have that. I think I want to save my spell mana for my turn. I won't have any free spells on my turn this time. And I'm not too worried about what this can invoke right now. Actually, it could invoke the Obliterate, but in that case, we still have 4 mana for deny, so I don't really want to be in that position where I can't deny. Because right now, Horns of the Dragon is my win condition. Instead, at least since we haven't seen him yet. So he's given that spell shield, which we don't really care about. So we don't really care about any of that, so we're going to hang out. So we still want to get 2 things with Overwhelm, just in case he does have like some type of freezing and things, but we don't want to extend all of our mana. And it's not really worth playing Lee Sin. Also, I didn't speak of this, but Lee Sin levels so easily when you're using the Reforge mechanic. It's quite amazing. I'm going to put the +2 over here on Riven, which will be a +4 realistically because of what she does. She'll grant me the Overwhelm fragment because of weapon hilt. So now we have an 8 Overwhelm and a 6 Overwhelm with double attack. And we have the ability to buff for 3 and deny something. And I could give something quick attack, but I don't think it really matters. So we will just go in with this. And we get the surrender. Alright. So that's the deck. So I drew Lee Sin at that turn, but the reason Horns of the Dragon is there is because if I don't see Lee Sin, Riven can still be a solid option. But as you see, naturally printed double attack, all you need is just the Overwhelm rune fragment, and then you can just blast through a ton of damage that way. And then obviously Blade of the Exile then. But a lot of times these decks can get a little clunky because you're using a lot of your mana, you're playing Blade of the Exile early, and then they're reacting and killing you or freezing you or something like that. So it's really nice to have 2 different targets that can overwhelm and deal, that combo damage at the end. So that's both, Riven, Horns of the Dragon, or Lee Sin. A mixture of any 2 of those, and you're feeling like you're in a pretty solid position. Obviously that game was a little bit wonky, but that's the deck, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you take it for a ride, try some OTK nonsense, and just have a blast with Riven. She's one of my favorite champions they've ever printed. So flexible. So enjoy that, and make sure to like, subscribe, leave a comment. We're still doing the giveaway. You have 2 more days to enter, and this was day 6 of 7. So tomorrow will be the last new deck. Until next time.